Okay, so we got our Red Ted Roadshow here with a reset problem. Let's start a game.
Let's wreck some roads.
Alright, look, it doesn't even make it into that. It immediately does a reset. I couldn't even flip the flipper. Let's try it again. Look, yeah, look, it's doing it again. So it's really got a 5-volt problem here, probably. Let's see if I can even start a game. Look, it's not even letting me start a game. Just keeps resetting over and over and over. Alright, let's try it again.
Time to go to work. Let's fire that thing up.
Alright. Okay, here we go. I'm going to flip the flipper. See what happens. I hit the flipper button and it reset. So this is a really bad reset problem. Let's take a look inside the back box. Inside the back box, right over here is the 5-volt test point. Right here, TP2. And we can see we got 506, which is perfect. That's the voltage you want to see. But then let's go over to the CPU board. This little capacitor over here, I test the 5 volts on the lower lug of that capacitor right there. And you can see that we're 493. So the voltage is dipping quite a bit between the CPU board and the driver board. So I would suspect that we got a problem with connectors. You can see that this game uses the famous Z connector. So you take 5 volts out of here through the Z connector and then over to this connector here. And if any one of these has some resistance in it, you'll have low 5 volts. The reason why they use this Z connector is this is one of the games that has a little external driver board up here with 8 more tip driver transistors. So what we're going to end up doing here is working on the connectors. A simple test would be just to reset them, just pull them in and out, and see if voltage changes. You know, if the voltage level changes over here, you definitely have a connector problem. Yeah, look at that. Reset them, and now look, I measure the voltage at the CPU board, we have 5.04 volts. So it's definitely a connector problem. So what I've done here is remove the whole power harness from the game, and I'm getting rid of this Z connector. I've removed the IDC connectors in the Z connector, wired around it, and have used crimp style connectors with trifurcon pins. So there's no longer a Z connector involved. So now I have the new power connectors installed. So basically it brings power from the power driver board to the CPU board, and then those all other points in between. The little 8 auxiliary driver board, here on the sound board, it also goes to the Fliptronics board. Disconnect the soundboard power, I disconnect this little guy's power, I disconnect the CPU board power, so then I flip it on. Okay, I don't see any smoke. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You know, turn it off, connect this guy, and then the soundboard, but not the CPU. Turn it on, I should get the bong from the DCS sound card. That'll tell me that the soundboard is booting right.
Yep.
So far I've wired everything right. Then last, put the CPU board on, power connector on, and reboot, and hopefully and it comes up. See, the game's in a track mode. So then we check the 5 volts again, just to make sure that see, that was the problem, is that with all these connectors, the 5 volts was just, it was going south. So
it was losing voltage due to
due to connectors. Okay, so I got 505 on the driver board, and I go over to the CPU board, and I got 503, which is perfect. Before you had, when I first came here, it was 468. It was really bad. Then I fumbled around with the connectors, and I got it up to 49. But, you know, it's still like,
below
you know,
that.
the connectors, yeah. So then we have all, like here and here, I now have crimped connectors. We no longer have that Z connector involved. So everything in, you know, so you got good 5-volt power between the driver board, which develops 5 volts, and the CPU board, which monitors the 5 volts. Because it's got a little chip on the CPU board that if the 5 volts dips down,
it says
it'll just do a reboot, and that's what causes those reboots. Well, here, let's give it a whirl.
I can make him a custom one.
Okay, so now you hit the flippers, it doesn't reboot.
Yep.
But you see, you still have a problem up here with that flipper. That flipper should hold up. See how
Yeah,
it isn't?
I-
Yeah, I'll fix that for you. Broken coil winding on your flipper coil, that's why it doesn't work. See this wire that's just kind of hanging off here? That's for the hold part of the
really?
coil. Yeah, and it was just
Well, it's
broken
not
off.
too
It's
healthy.
just broken off. Oh, the coil's fine. It's just that wire's off. We'll just reattach it and it'll be fine. This is the Fliptronics board that controls the flippers. And I'm just looking at it, you know, the big transistors are for the power side. I'm looking for the hold side. So it would be one of these 8. And anyways, I'm looking, I'm just going through testing everything. Look, it's missing a diode. D1 isn't even there. Could that be why the hold isn't working on that coil? I mean, yeah, the winding was broken on the flipper coil, but it still didn't work. It still didn't hold. So the diode, I'm going to put a new diode in and hope that that fixes it. That would be really weird. Test play.
Let's wreck some road.
Look, our flipper works now properly. After we put that diode back in, that's pretty wild. Play this one-handed? Probably not.